Good evening. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Julie and you are watching Woman at the Well. We are in the book of Revelation right now doing a little bit of a Bible study. And so I just read one chapter a video, sometimes two chapters, just in like the last video I read 8 and 9 because they kind of went together. Tonight we're just going to read chapter 10. I'm going kind of slow in this study so that we can focus on each chapter. And the notes for each chapter and the reference scriptures for each chapter, and that way we can really absorb the information instead of just whipping through the book, because this is not a book that you want to whip through because it's just so marvelous. The symbolism and just I picture things. I picture what I read all the time. Did you know there's people out there that can't picture what they read? I just found this out. Like if you're saying something, or I picture everything in my head. Like I picture the color, I picture the shape, that's just how I am. That's how I navigate. And I just found out recently that there's people that cannot picture things in their head. They're more factual. And I'm just like, whoa, I did not know that. I thought everybody was able to form a vision, like a picture in their head. I don't know. It was actually a guy on YouTube. I forgot his name, and it was like a month or so ago I came across him, and he said that. He said that he can't picture things in his head. I think he was on TED Talks, and I was shocked. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine what it would be like to not be able to picture stuff in my head, because that's like how I navigate through life. But I guess it's the same for the opposite. They're probably like, I can't imagine what it would be like to picture things in my head. I'm more factual. But anyway, so yes, we're in chapter 10, and tonight we're going to read about the angel and the little scroll. And I have my Bible app open here on my husband's laptop, so that when we come down to the study notes at the bottom, after we read the chapter, and we come across any scripture, we can go ahead and look it up on the Bible app. I used this felt pen in my study Bible just now, and it smeared everywhere. No bueno. Can't use that. Okay, so without further ado, if you have your Bibles, open them up to chapter 10 in the book of Revelation. And if you don't have a Bible, you can just listen along and maybe take some notes while you're at it. So here we are. Here we go. Actually, let me take a drink of my electrolytes. Oh, I didn't have any cold water. And so, it's room temperature. Okay, here we are. The angel and the little scroll. Then I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven. He was robed in a cloud with a rainbow above his head. His face was like the sun, and his legs were like fiery pillars. He was holding a little scroll, which lay open in his hand. He planted his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land, and he gave out a loud shout like the roar of a lion. When he shouted, the voices of the servants... I'm sorry. This magnifying glass is making my eyes buggy, and plus I am a little tired, so I apologize. When he shouted, the voices of the seven thunders spoke, and when the seven thunders spoke, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from heaven say, "Seal up what the seven thunders have said, and do not write it down." Then the angel I had seen standing on the sea and on the land raised his hand to heaven, and he swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created the heavens and all that is in them, the earth and all that is in it, and the sea and all that is in it, and said, "There will be no more delay, but in the days when the seventh angel is about to sound his trumpet, the mystery of God will be accomplished, just as he announced to his servants the prophets." Then the voice that I had heard from heaven spoke to me once more. Go take the scroll that lies open in the hand of the angel who is standing on the sea and on the land." So I went to the angel and asked him to give me the little scroll. He said to me, "Take it and eat it. It will turn your stomach sour, but in your mouth it will be sweet as honey." I took the little scroll from the angel's hand and ate it. It tasted as sweet as honey in my mouth, but when I had eaten it, my stomach turned sour. Then I was told, "You must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings." So we just read about the angel and the little scroll. Short chapter, but we're only going to read this chapter for this video. So down below in my notes, or in the study Bible notes, let's look at some of the verses here and see if there's any interesting fun facts about what we just read. So in verse 1, we read about the mighty angel. And it says, "Perhaps the angel robed in a cloud." Okay, hold on. Sometimes they word things differently. There was something interesting in this. "The rainbow became a sign of God's pledge never to destroy the earth again by flood." See Genesis chapter 9, 8 through 17. "Legs were like fiery pillars." Since the Exodus supplies background for this central part of Revelation, this feature may recall the pillars of fire and cloud that guided and protected the Israelites during their desert journey. If you're not familiar with the story of Moses and how he led the Israelites out of slavery and into the promised land, they were guided by God everywhere they went. And they were guided by either a pillar of fire or a cloud. So it says that we can look at Exodus chapter 14. So let's look up Exodus chapter 14, just in case somebody out there isn't familiar with that book. Oh no. I'm trying to get the Bible to be pulled up. It doesn't want to work now. It's frozen. Oh, here we go. Okay. Except I don't know how to scroll down. Oh, good. See, I'm not very... Oh, no. I am not very good at computers. Especially, like, my son can get on any computer, even for the first time, and he'll know exactly what to do. I can't seem to find my way through the books in the Bible. Hold on. I had another one pulled up the other night, and maybe it's this one. It is. Okay, so Exodus. Sorry about that little delay there. So we said we can look at Exodus chapter 14. Okay. And it says verses 19 and verses 24. And it's going to talk to us about the pillar of fire and the cloud. So in chapter 14, verse 19 of Exodus, we read, "Then the angel of God who had been traveling in front of Israel's army withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them." So that's how they knew where to go. They followed the cloud because the cloud was God. The pillar of cloud also moved because God went behind them. So when God went behind them, so did the cloud. And so what does verse 24 have to say? "During the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army and threw it into confusion." So there we have another reference to the cloud and the pillar of fire. So I really suggest you read the story of Moses, because like I said, the way the Lord makes things happen over and over and over again, like we read in Ecclesiastes in one video. I think I mentioned it in a different video. We're being led right now in this life. I mean, we're being led to the promised land, right? That's what we're all doing. We're just pilgrims passing through this life, passing through this world. We're headed to the promised land. This isn't all there is. Thank the Lord. Okay, so what's going on in verse 2? The little scroll. It's not the same as the scroll of destiny. Since that scroll was intended to reveal its contents, and this scroll was to be eaten. Furthermore, the term little scroll sets the particular scroll off from all the others. And when it says the right foot on the sea and the left foot on the land, that indicates his tremendous size and symbolizes that his coming has to do with the destiny of all creation. I read in another area in the Bible that the earth is God's footstool. When I read that, I'm like, okay, if the earth is the footstool, then we as human beings are like an ant to an ant to an ant to an ant to an ant. I mean, we're this small. We're like little tiny sand grains moving around down here. But you know what's so amazing? We have souls. We're this little, but we have souls and we have a life and we have, like, we're humans. And I don't know, I just get so fascinated with life and human beings and just how this world is so big. This universe is so big and massive. When you go into like the galaxies, into space, okay, I'm going to name drop. When I first started going to church again in my adult life, I started watching on TV a pastor, but he was also really into space. But he wasn't like woo-woo or anything like that. He was biblical. He read straight from the Bible. His name is Louis Giglio. And if you don't know who he is, look him up. I've watched him several times, and I can tell you that he does, from what I've always seen, he teaches and preaches straight out of the Bible in each one of his videos. He's at his church on these videos. But he talks about space, and he talks about how great our God is. And if you get a chance, look up Louis Giglio and watch some of his older videos when he talks about the galaxies and space. And I think one of the videos is even titled "How Great Is Our God." But they were fascinating. And you know what? I'm so glad I remembered that. I'm gonna watch them again. He says he loves space, and he talks about God and creation in such a way that you're just hanging on his every word almost, because he's that good of a preacher. He's really good. I recommend you find him and listen to him one of these days. Okay, so let's see. Verse 3 talked about the 7 thunders. It says thunder is connected with divine punishment. Here too it anticipates the judgment to fall on those who refuse God's love and grace. Gotta accept the Lord. You gotta believe in Jesus. Okay. Let's see. Going into verse 4, when it talks about sealing up the scroll. The prophecies were sealed until the last times, when they will be opened. What the 7 thunders said will not be revealed until their prosper time. Okay, and then in verse 5, when the angel raised his right hand, a part of oath taking. It's a part of oath taking. When you raise your right hand, you're taking an oath. Okay. And then let's see, in verse 7, we talked about the mystery of God. And it says down here in the study notes, In apocalyptic thoughts, mysteries were secrets preserved in heaven and revealed to the apocalyptist. Here the mystery is that God has won the victory over the forces of evil and will reign forever and ever. Amen. Okay. So, what was up with the taking of the scroll and eating it? It says, grasp and digest fully the contents of this scroll. It'll turn your stomach sour. The message of the little scroll will involve suffering. The bad news in your mouth, sweet as honey. God's eternal purposes will experience no further delay. The good news. That is good news. It's telling us to look up Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 1 through 3. So let's see what that says. Ezekiel what? See, my brain, I can't retain any information. I forget things immediately. 3. I went through extreme autistic burnout. And it was when I was in burnout is when I was diagnosed with autism. And I went through this burnout after my brother passed 4 years ago. And it's like my body just stopped. It said, we're not working anymore. Good luck. So I'm not kidding you. It is the weirdest feeling to be in an autistic burnout, because it's like I went my whole life. Okay, I'm getting off track, but I went my whole life just maintaining myself in order to just carry on and keep up with the crowd, or try to anyway. Not crowd as in like, but just with life, just trying to keep up with life and, growing in my life and just trying to maintain. And when I hit that grief after my brother died, it was like I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't, and I realized I was masking my whole life too. But I hit extreme burnout, and one of the things that I still have not gotten back now that my burnout is, I feel like I'm still in burnout, but it's not as bad as it was, like, I'd say 2 years ago. Burnout takes forever to get through. I mean, if you think about it, your whole entire body just shuts down on you. Not like your organs or anything, but like in your mind, your mental, and even physical too. You just have no energy. Sorry, I'm getting off track. I didn't mean to do that to you. Okay, so we're talking about the little scroll and how they ate it, or how John the Apostle, he said it was sweet as honey in his mouth and it turned sour in his stomach. So in Ezekiel chapter 3, verses 1 through 3, we read, and he said to me, Son of man, eat what is before you, eat this scroll, then go and speak to the people of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he gave me the scroll to eat. Then he said to me, Son of man, eat this scroll I am giving you, and fill your stomach with it. So I ate it, and it tasted as sweet as honey in my mouth. See? It's even in Ezekiel. So the book of Revelation, and I think I said this in the last video, or maybe the video before that, I feel like the book of Revelation ties together the entire Bible. So, because we're reading things that we read in Revelation in other parts of the Bible, like it's been prophesied. I can never say that word right. It's been predicted, like prophesied. I think it's prophesied. You're seeing firsthand how my brain is when I'm not fully functioning correctly. I don't edit my videos. I don't try to appear to be like fancy schmancy and I mean, look at my background. I'm in a messy room. I'm just trying to bring the Bible as best I can. But you're seeing how I am when I'm just kind of like out of sorts. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. You might press end on this video like before it's over. Sorry. Okay. So let's see. In verse 11, the last verse of chapter 10, the prophecies following the sounding of the seventh trumpet. So what was verse 11? Then I was told, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings. So he took the scroll and ate it. It was sweet in his mouth, but sour in his stomach. And we read that the scroll is going to bring a lot of, what did it say? Suffering. The scroll, the contents in it will involve suffering. There will be bad news. But there's also good news in the scroll. I guess it would be good news for believers, but bad news for the unbelievers, right? That's what I'm thinking. So, okay, that was chapter 10. Very short. Next video is chapter 11 for this study, and we're going to read about the two witnesses. And let's see, that's a longer chapter. Not a long chapter, but it's longer than chapter 10. So we'll spend a little bit more time in the next video doing our Bible study. But that's all she wrote for chapter 10. I hope you are still with me after I have been going off path and off track how many times in this video. Sorry about that. But hey, it's just how I am, especially on the nights when I'm just out of sorts. So, all right, I'll let you go. I'm at 22 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So I will see you on the next video. And until then, make sure you pray for others. And if you need prayer yourself, I can pray for you. Drop a comment. Tell me what you need me to pray for you about, or what I can ask God for you, because I believe in the power of prayer. I mean, we read what prayer must look like in the other realm, and it's really cool. So it should make us all want to pray. But if you need prayer, let me know, and I'll pray for you. And just stay strong in your faith no matter what you face, because you know that God is always with you. Okay? So you all take care, and God bless you, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.